Hello everyone. Welcome back to our sequel session. I hope that you had a chance to visit our earlier sessions. If in case you didn't got a chance, so I will just give you an overview. So in our last session, we have covered like how we can create a table and some of the basic things that we do here in SQL like we do in our day-to-day life with an example of notebook. So in our last session, we have seen how we can create a table. So previously, we have created a table named employee where we have kept two fields. One is ID and the another one is name, where the ID is in end format and the name is in varchar format. Means there will be some string values into it, and in ID there will be the numerical values into it, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Okay. So now today what we are going to learn is we are going to learn that although we have a table, but we already saw that there is no data into it. So just to give you a reference over it, I will just rewrite the query, select ID, comma, name from employee. Okay. And then I'll run it. So here you can see that the query ran successfully, but we don't see any output or any value into this particular table. The reason is this is something that we have created newly and there is no data inside this table right now. So now what I'm going to do is that I am going to insert a value into it. So for that, I need to give a proper instruction that is going to be like insert. I want to insert some value. So right now it is giving me error because I have not written the complete syntax. I was thinking I have done some spelling mistakes. So insert, where I want to insert, I want to insert it into a table. In which table I want to insert? I want to insert it into employee table. Okay. For which values I want to insert. So right now we have ID and name, but there can be a scenario where there can be multiple columns, but we don't have value for all of those columns, right? So in those cases, we would not like to add all the data, right? For each and every column. So there will be some blank values into it or maybe a null. So right now we want to add the value for both columns like ID and name. Okay. And now I will say what values I want to add. So what I'm saying, insert my data into employee table for ID and name column where the values will be 1, comma, a name. So I will write my name here and then a semicolon. And now I will run this query. So on execution, you can see that the query ran successfully. And if I will rerun this query, then you can see that I am getting a record right now. Okay. Now, suppose I want to update this data. So right now, my first employee is Prerna, but I want to add my surname too into it. So how I can do that? So in order to do that, I need to write the update query. So in update query also, we not need to do a lot. Only thing is I need to write here update. Again, I will give what I want to update. I want to update my employee table. Okay. Where I want to set name equal to Prerna Mishra. Where I want to do this? I want to do this. So here it is like Prerna Mishra. And then where I want to do this? Where ID will be equal to 1 and semicolon. So this is the condition I want to keep. So this should run, right? So let's try to run this query. So here we can see that it was not ran successfully. There is some error into it. You are using safe update mode and you tried to update a table without aware that use a key column. To disable safe mode, toggle the option in preference. So here it is saying that we have not used any key column. So what is the key column it is talking about? Okay. So suppose again I will take reference with reference to a student. So whenever we go to uh, school or college, what we see that even though we have our identity of our name, first name plus last name, but every time we go, we get a roll number. So basically, roll number is our identity for us. So suppose there may be a chances that in a classroom there can be two Prerna, right? There can be one name which is common for two or more than two people. So in that cases, there is a roll number which helps us to uniquely identify those. Similarly, here is a concept of primary key, which helps us to identify or helps us to make sure that, okay, fine, the data that I'm seeing right now is not the same one that I was uh, watching earlier, right? To keep a track of different records, right? So suppose if we don't have roll number concept and there are two Prerna, one is Prerna Sharma and one is Prerna Mishra. So one got 98 marks in mathematics and the another one got 30 marks in mathematics. So if in case they don't have their roll number, then there may be a chances that teacher can get confused and they can replace the marks. So in order to not get into these issues, what is the fix? The fix is to provide a roll number to each of the students. So when the student will be using their roll numbers and the teacher will be looking into it, they will be assigning the correct numbers to them. Similarly, here we have created ID field, although we know that id is something that is unique only, but we have not specified here in sql how it will understand that I am the unique person. Okay, so I need to take care of those, I am the responsible person here. So to make them understand, first thing that we want to say them is that id, please note that you can never be null. So I will say not null. Okay, so the first concept is it cannot be null. Second thing is now I need to let my table know also that who is your primary key, like who will be the one based on which you can change yourself, right? So I will say that employee table, your primary key is ID. So if any instruction is going to be based on ID, then you need to follow it. Okay. So here, it is saying that I missed something. Okay, let me check. This is one bracket and this is supposed to close here and then primary key ID. Let's see. So it will say primary key is ID. Not sure why it is giving this. So let me try and run it. Oh, so what I missed is that in continuation to my name varchar, I am telling that primary key is going to be ID. So it is considering that this is something like part of it, right? So I need to separate this first with a comma. And now you can see there is no error. So now if I will run the same query, then it is still giving the error. Why is it giving the error? Because it is saying the table employee is already created, which means right now I'm not able to make any changes to it. Although I can change a normal field to primary ID. But since we are trying it for the first time, I will tell you like how we can start our process. So like here, I will say employee detail. I will rename it as employee detail. Okay. And now I will rerun this query like this. Okay. And now you can see that it got affected. Okay. And now since we have changed the table, it means we need to have some data into it. So in this insert query, I will replace it with employee detail and we'll run this. So now the data is there in employee table. And now I will say the same update query, like update employee detail table, where you need to set the name as Prerna Mishra, where ID equals to 1. So again, it will go to employee detail table. It will check like where is ID 1 and it will be replacing the name that is there. This is my expectation. This is what it should be working on. So I will execute this and we can see that it got successfully run. Now the point is, did the data got updated or not? So I will say select star from employee details and now I will run. So now we can see that there is data, Prerna and Prerna Mishra. Both data is coming here. Okay. Now similarly, I see that there is a null value coming, or maybe I will delete this same record. I found that the Prerna employee has left the organization. So I no longer need the data for Prerna. So how we can remove this? So similarly, like we have updated the data, we can delete the data too. Okay, which means it is no longer needed for us. So again, we need to write another command, which will be delete from employee detail where ID equals to 1. And now once I will run this query, you can see that the query got successfully ended. And now again, if I will check this data, so we can see that now it is showing no data. And what will happen if I will say ID equal to null and then I will click on run. So this also got completed. Now let's see if it is giving me that null data too. So no, it is still coming because it has not taken any value right now. It is something that is coming as a garbage value over here. Okay. So now, so in this session, we covered like how we can insert a data into a table, how we can update a data and how we can delete a data. So depending on our requirement, there are scenarios like if I talk about employee in an organization, based on the requirements, we hire new people, right? They come become they are a new member who becomes part of our organization. So we need to have data information about them. That is why we where we can use insert into. Similarly, there are some person who will be updating some information like their address may change, their contact number may change later on, or sometimes they may need to change their names also, right? Or any other information. So in those scenarios, update is very beneficial for us. Now there are employees like this is a life policy where employees will change for their better improvised for thing or right. So in that case, what the organization will do, they won't be keeping track of the employee who has left the organization, right? They will be willing to keep track of only those employees who are part of their organization. So in those cases, what they will want is they will be willing to remove the record of those. So with the help of delete query, we can remove all such things. So this is a very with a general example, I have tried to explain you what and how to use insert query, update query, and delete query. If in case you have any questions related to it, please don't hesitate to ask. That's all for our today's session. Thank you so much for watching the video and have a nice day to all of you.